Hi,
Hello
welcome back
to Tea in a Chat.
with Harry and Zara.
No Pat today. How
No
sad.
Pat. Pat's never. This is the start of every.
It's like a thing now, though. I feel like you can't start one without mentioning Pat.
More like you can't start one.
We
without
love Pat.
We don't know anyone called Pat.
Anyway, we have some announcements to say today. The first one is Harry has a public apology to make.
Yeah, I've got an apology to make. Now, when's this podcast will be coming out down the line, and if anyone has been listening to our previous podcasts, we record them in advance.
Yeah,
so
we're about 4 weeks ahead, if not more.
We're a good bit ahead, and our first two podcasts have literally gone live. The second one went live today at 12.
Yep.
So today is the 21st of July, I want to say.
I have absolutely no idea. 21st, yeah.
21st of July, our second episode 2 went live at 12 o'clock. And at the start of the episode, Zara introduces it and I incorrectly correct you. So I am sorry for that. You say, welcome to season 1, episode 2 or something.
I say welcome to episode 2, season 1.
And my
Harry's
brain...
like, no, it's not that. You've said it wrong.
So that's exactly how it went. No, I think my brain was like, hang on, 1 comes before 2, and you said... But you didn't say anything wrong.
I'm just teasing you, it's fine.
No
one cares.
Yeah, no one's listening anyway.
Rude.
No, I'm kidding. No.
Okay, our second announcement is neither of us have... Not only do we not have tea, we don't even have drinks.
I've got water.
Oh.
You've got some
sorted yourself
squash over there.
Oh, okay.
So we do have drinks.
I wonder what episode number it's going to be where we both have a cup of tea.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, to happen.
We'll let you know. It'll be in... The title of the podcast will be in pure caps.
Yeah,
we actually had tea in a chat.
We actually had tea in a chat.
Also, hello to anyone who's new. If you've just started listening from here and you haven't listened to anything previously,
go back and listen because you're missing out.
Well, you might find something you like, yeah. But welcome, hi.
Welcome, hi.
Hope you enjoy it.
Have any other?
Zara meant that in a genuine way. She sounded a bit sarcastic there.
See, he's calling me out again. He always calls me out on these. I'm just living life. Do you have anything else to say before we get into it?
Yes, another announcement. We've moved venue. Now,
oh, yes.
That sounds a lot bigger than it actually is. When I say we've moved venue, for all the podcasts from the start up until now, we have been recording in the kitchen, in our little kitchen diner. So it's like the kitchen's right next to where the table and chairs are, which is normally where we record, on the table and chairs. However, when the fridge is cooling itself, it makes a little buzz. It's just genuinely noisier in that room, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't done it in here. I like this better. We've got a sofa. We don't have to sit on that wooden bench.
The sofa actually makes a lot more sense in regards to the imagery we use for Tea in a Chat.
Tea in a Chat.
It's on the sofa, so we're a work in progress.
Episode 5 and we're working it out.
We are still working it out. This is better though. We've moved up. We're going to get a new sofa by episode 10. We're not.
No, I like this sofa. Anyway, let's get into today, shall we? They don't want to listen to us chat anymore.
Oh, why some people think that's the best part of the podcast?
If you prefer listening to us chat about nonsense rather than what we actually come to chat about,
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll just do an episode chatting about absolutely nothing.
Wow. Yeah, let us know. I'm on board for that. We like to chat, as we have said many times.
Anyway, okay. So Harry is going to lead our conversation a little bit today. I feel like you've got a lot to say on this.
Well, yeah, maybe. What are we talking about?
Today we're talking about networking and, well, of course, networking in the industry, how important it is, how to do it, basically. So maybe just start by giving everyone a little idea of what networking is and what it can look like.
Networking as straightforward as it is, networking is essentially building up relationships to further your career. So building up, if you know, in the performance world, which is obviously what this podcast is based around, you'll be looking to network with casting directors, producers, maybe fellow actors, dancers, singers, whatever, other creatives that you can perhaps collaborate with, work with, that you want to work with, that you aspire to work with, whatever. Building relationships in multiple areas that, you know, help you move forward. It's a bit like a big referencing network, really, when you think about it. If you're doing like a normal job interview and here's your CV and, can you give us a couple of references? It's kind of, I guess, a bit like that.
It's who you know at the end of the day.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. That's an element of it. In my view, I just want to stress there's no right or wrong way of doing anything in regards to networking. I think it's a big word that's thrown around a lot, and it's all like many of the other things we'll talk about. It's about finding what's right for you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's important, but I think everyone is doing it more than they think they're doing it. But we'll probably get into that.
Yeah. Well, I guess that sort of leads us on to the next thing, is how important do you think it is in industry to network?
It's definitely important. It's definitely important. I mean, there's no rules about networking in the sense that you have to do it. You don't have to do anything, but it may stall progress if you want to make quicker progress. It may stop if you have a particular thing you want to go do, so a particular TV show, for example, that you want to work in. You make no effort to sort of meet the right people in and around that area, or make moves to try and build relationships in the right direction. It's not necessarily going to happen because the people. So in networking, in my mind, that you could want to network with people who have opportunities is a good direction, if you like. For example, like I said, casting directors or producers, people who are involved in making decisions on who works on their show, who works with them, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you network with those people, you build a relationship, you're going to be in their mind, hopefully, is the idea.
Yeah.
So it's definitely important, absolutely important. But I feel like there's different levels of it. I think people tend to think networking is, well, I've got to talk to the top casting director, do you know what I mean? Or whatever, at the top of the pile. But it's not necessarily that.
I think I feel like I have a bit of a block when it comes to networking, because I'm not the kind of person who's going to, it feels very fake to me. But that's just maybe how I view it. It's not, I'm not the kind of person who's going to just message some random casting director I don't know and be like, hi, love what you do, blah, 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 just to get a job. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because I'm sure that it works for people, and I'm sure it does, but it feels so disingenuous to me. Is that a word? Disingenuous?
I don't know.
Well,
Could
anyway.
be. Sounds like a word.
I've always found it really hard. I've always preferred to network in a way that's more
organic,
genuine, and more, you meet someone and you get to know them, and which again takes longer and it's harder, but
well, not necessarily. This is the thing. I think it's not. I understand that feeling, because I think you and I are kind of similar in our natures of, if you want to go into introverts and extroverts, it's obviously. And being a bit black and white here, an extrovert is probably more likely to go over to introduce themselves, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas an introverted person, which I think we've probably fallen into the category of more introverted people, are a bit less likely to go over like that. I can even talk about that now. That is part of me in my stomach that's like, geez, I don't want to do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't want to go over and say hi. I mean, obviously I want to work with you, but I don't want to, whatever. And there's definitely, you can go ahead and message and email people. I think you don't want to rub people up the wrong way and overdo that. You don't want to continuously bombard people, because that's just going to have the opposite effect. It's probably going to annoy people. But there's definitely ways and means of, you can do it that way, of messaging people. I know, saying, I've just watched this film, I love what you did, with it. And attached is maybe a show reel or something. If you've got time, I'd really appreciate it. It's a kind of it's a subtle-ish way of doing it, but of course it's a very accessible way. A lot of people perhaps will do that. So, and it doesn't guarantee anything, but you've got nothing to lose in doing it.
Exactly, and it's that kind of thing. I feel is a bit more like maybe they might not reply to you. They're busy. Maybe they will have had a peek at your show reel or whatever, and then come 3 months down the line, you audition for them. They're like, I recognise their face.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, it's a start of something, because if you have a reference point and they can make connections, or you can help them make connections, if you do see them face to face, then that's obviously going to help things build quicker. It's like, that person, because it may come across as well as like that person's proactive. They've tried to engage with me before. I think also people like casting directors and producers, and I keep using those two examples, but other things as well. They do. I think if they've got time, will respond if it's relevant.
Yeah.
I've heard. I hear about that. I don't think it's uncommon to get a response. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the response you're going to want.
I think that maybe that's the difference between actors and dancers.
It could be.
Because I think, well, it's not that they won't respond. I'm not saying they won't, but a lot of the time, if you think about, if you go to an open call audition, right? How many people are there? So many.
Yeah, loads.
And if even like 25% of them are emailing in, there's still like 100 odd people that they, you know what I mean? So it's maybe.
Yeah. I think there's similar aspects, but equally there'll be different aspects as well. But I think the main point of it is there's nothing wrong with doing that avenue.
Yeah, of course.
I think if you don't do it, then nothing will come either. If you don't do it, nothing's going to come from it because you haven't done anything. If you do it, something could. You don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I want to stress: do not bombard people with like, watch my show reel, I'm doing this, come watch me, whatever. Because you'll get a different name in the industry, and I think it's a small world.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in it, but it's a small world. The performing
well,
industry.
that's an interesting point though. Where do you draw the line? Like, because I'm not saying you can't message people more than once, but where's the line in that? Where do you?
I think now I would say use common sense. Now I think maybe everyone will have different levels of what's okay and what's not. But I think you don't want to send, like the word I used earlier, to bombard people. You don't want to do that because it's too much in one go and you're just going to get like pushed to the side. I think if you need to send, say, 3 emails or something, right, over the course of a period of time. But I think the point of the emails shouldn't be watch me, congratulate, or say you enjoyed something of a certain person. At least that's what I think. You know what I mean? You're connecting with something they have done rather than be like, look at me.
Yeah.
Because everybody is like, if you say, oh, well, that was really good, people are going to be like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? You take that on.
Thank you.
You see? So to tell someone that, people welcome compliments and stuff, and to connect with someone over something they've put effort in, you're starting a build of something positive. Whether they get back to you or not, it doesn't. You don't go in looking. I mean, I guess the point is to build a relationship, but go in just with the idea of
connecting with someone.
It's like if you see someone walking down the street and I don't know, you like their outfit, for example. You're like, oh, you look really cool. So you don't know them. You got no. It's just you're just saying it because it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that taps into a bit more of an organic thing rather than just sending an email for the sake of sending an email.
That's what I was going to say. I think that the thing with networking is, like you said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But I think if you do your research,
yes,
and you try to network with people that are relevant and people that you feel that you could connect with, that's going to bring something around, like if you are doing what Harry says and you're messaging someone and saying, oh, I loved your client's performance in this show, and you've lied. You've not seen the show. You don't know.
Yeah,
You don't know the
do
person. Like, you've just done that to make it look like you're giving them a compliment. You're not going to actually be able to build any sort of connection. You're not going to know. Like, nothing's going to be genuine about that. It's all like.
You also put yourself in the position of, if you do get a chance to then meet that person, say face to face, and they bring up said message that they might have read, and you're like, what? You then create a whole different, like, in a blink of an eye, a whole different relationship, and you kind of stuffed yourself. You know what I mean? What? There's nothing to gain from lying.
Exactly. Whereas I feel like, say you're interested in being in the Moulin Rouge, which, hello Moulin Rouge, if you want to hire me, that you can do that, that's fine. But say you are interested in being in the Moulin Rouge, and you know who casts it, like, you know who, you can get to a class of someone, the interest in the Moulin Rouge is genuine, so your approach to reaching out and getting to those people is genuine, and then the connection you'll have between going to the class, or if you go see it and then you contact one of the dancers and its agents to be like, oh, I went to see the Moulin Rouge, I love the Moulin Rouge, Bobby was in it and I want to be in it, you're their agent, can we chat? You know what I mean? It just it naturally makes it more of a genuine thing than being like, oh, this person, this casting director, this agent casts a lot, nothing really in particular that I want to be in, but I'm going to try and, I'm going to follow the crowd and try and get in there. But it's not. Yeah.
No, you've got to move in the direction you want to go.
Exactly. And I think part of that as well comes from, you have whoever you're trying to connect with or want to connect with, you want to network with, you have something to give them as well. So you have to make sure that you know what it is you're giving. So, for example, let's use the Moulin Rouge again. You'd be a good fit for that show, so you can go into that networking sort of situation knowing that it's going to be a mutual thing. Whereas if you're just reaching out to someone and you're like, I want you to give me something, I want you to,
it's non-specific.
That's where I think that maybe the genuine thing comes from that I keep talking about, because it's,
I think as well, if you've got a passion for something, you're going to invest in it more organically anyway. I think it's also, though, important to have a balance of, if you desperately want to do something, give yourself a bit of a check and see how you would feel if you would say you were doing, that was just an element of what you did, and you were a director. And this is, I do this show, I've got another show in the pipeline, whatever. So, and and there's someone really desperate, it can be a bit much. And if you were that person and someone was like, come on, oh please put me in, you can be like, whoa, like just go through the process like everybody. It's a bit of a repellent. I guess is my point.
So it does apply in this situation as well. I always used to think about it in a audition room sort of scenario, right? But you can apply it to anything in life, really. Is what can I do right now that would make their life better / easier? So, for example, in an audition, right? Imagine you're the casting director. All they want, or the choreographer, whatever, all they want is for you to go in, take in the choreography or the whatever. Sorry, I'm going to speak about it in a dance perspective, but take in the choreography, do it the best you can, like show them what you can do the best you can on that day. That's all they want to see, and if it's right for them, it's right for them, and if it's not, it's not. And it's the same, like, networking wise. If you were to be like, I can offer you this is like, will it benefit them in a way to be contacting them? And if it is, then great, go for it. I think that's a good way to look at it.
I think what I take from that and what you're saying there is that everyone wants stuff to be easy. So everyone really, I think there's can be a bit of a sense of like a divide between, I don't know, say casting directors or whatever, people behind the table compared to people, in front of the table. But the reality is everybody wants to work together.
Yeah, everyone's doing the same thing in a way.
I've the casting directors I've been in around and stuff, they want you to do well because it just makes their job easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you come in, do the stuff, do your triple pirouette, whatever you need to do, and they're like, perfect, that. Their job is done. You're the first person in the day. It's done. Obviously, they will then continue to see everybody else, but like, that's what they want. They want you to do well, because then they can cast the show quickly. It's all, I mean, everything progresses in the right direction.
So this bring it back in a bit. I feel like we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, as always. Let's start from the start. Let's say you're like a new grad, or no, it doesn't even have to be. You're in the industry of some sort. You want to start networking. Mm-hmm. You're like, I don't know what to do. Where do you start?
I think for me, I would start with, what are you interested in? And like you mentioned earlier, do your research. Mm. Who is involved in casting these particular shows or programs you're interested in? Who are the people involved in that process? Find out about them. Find out, do they do any workshops? Do they have any contact information that you could get a hold of, maybe? To perhaps send an email like we've mentioned, or go to a workshop. Workshops are probably one of the best things, I'd say.
I think it's great if you can meet them in person, or someone to do with them in person.
You literally, with a workshop, you'll give someone like an actual like physical person to remember, and if you do something that they find significant, you might not even think of anything of it at the time, but you're going to have left an impression. But do your research and find out about that particular direction you want to go, and then through doing that, you'll find out little avenues that I think you would naturally gravitate to anyway. And that's the start of networking, in my view. Like the workshop example. If you found out, oh my God, I really want to be in this program, and this casting director's doing a workshop in 2 days' time, I can sign up. You just do it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think about it as a networking thing. You just do it. Yet you're actually beginning something that is a networking thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important to remind yourself every so often, and remember that actually you may not necessarily feel like you're networking, but you could be doing it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was the question again? I tend to rabble.
Where do you start?
Do your research. That's where you start. Do your
research, 100%, and then just do something. Try something. Find out what works for you.
Do what feels right to you is important, absolutely, because again, that comes back to the genuine thing. If you're doing something you don't feels right, or you have a bit of a reluctance to do, don't do it. Don't put yourself in a position of feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. The outcome, obviously, the outcome might be fine, but I just think that there'll be other ways of doing something, and to develop a good relationship with the activity and networking will mean that you have positively reinforced how you feel about it, and you feel it's successful. You feel like, actually, I can do this. I can, whatever, rather than being like, oh, I did that and it was awful. It all went to, I can't do it. Do you know what I mean?
I think as well, it's important to remember that I think the thing that leaves an impression at the end of the day is you as a person and as like a individual. Like if you go into some sort of networking environment, whether that be via email or something, or in person, if you are like authentically, wholeheartedly yourself, you're kind, you know what I mean, they're going to remember that than the triple pirouette you did in the class,
Well, yeah, as well. I think, that's another thing. I feel like in my mind, we're moving towards actual literally talking to people a bit. Is that something we're going to talk about later, or can I talk about it now?
Sorry, I thought that's what you're talking about already.
Oh yeah, well, that's
just ways
great.
to do it.
Yeah. Because I think one of the things that comes into my head is talking to people. I think as well, if you're in a scenario where you can actually talk to someone who might be able to help you get into a project you want to be a part of, I think the other thing with networking is you sort of feel that, I'm chatting to, so me as an actor, I'm chatting to a casting director who's casting a film I want to be in. You sort of feel obliged to be like, oh, well, I'm an actor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I personally don't think that is necessarily the way to do it. I think connect on a base human level You know, when you just meet, so you're going on a date, you'll talk about interests and you might have a shared interest, which you'll then naturally talk about more because you share the same interest. And I think having something like that, or finding something like that, like I like to cut my grass in straight lines, and that person does too. It's a crap example, but do you know what I mean? If you find that you're both like, oh yeah, you actually have a genuine human connection before the work connection comes in.
Yeah.
And then that person thinks of you more as it's more of a connection. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You connect on a human level rather than this person's just come up to me because they know I do this.
Yeah.
And they want to be in this thing.
Exactly. It's about finding the balance of selling yourself as a performer, but also being like, well, yeah, this is me too, you know, and it's all part of it, I guess. And I think maybe the human side you're talking about is overlooked.
Yeah, the thing it makes me think, I was working, running some auditions. That's just, when I say running, that makes it sound like I'm sort of in charge of it all. I wasn't. I was running in the sense of signing people in, sending them into the room, getting the next person ready, running. That's, you know, getting coffees
Being a runner,
and stuff.
yeah.
Being a runner, that's it. And in that same building, there were rehearsals going on. It was a few years ago now. It was Pinter season. And there was loads of like really famous actors and stuff coming in, or whatever, and it was a little bit starstruck kind of thing for me. But I was in there like 5 days a week, same to them, rehearsing, so we were sort of around each other a lot. And I remember at the end of one day we were doing, I think it was auditions for Tina the musical at this particular part of the day, and it was a little girl. I've not seen Tina, but there's obviously an element where there's a young Tina. So there's a load of mums, loads of little girls and whatever, all sort of doing their auditions. And something happened with one of them where one of them was upset for whatever reason. Anyway, the cast of the particular, I want to say it was Pinter 6 that they were doing at that time. They were rehearsing. They were all sort of finishing up for the day. They were leaving, going home. And sort of, it was along the same lines for me. Like, these kids were kind of like finishing up. I was just sort of milling around, waiting to see if I needed to tidy anything up, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was sat next to Celia Emery, who's an actress, who's very lovely. She was really great to talk to. But the reason we got to chatting is because there was something happened where one of the little girls got upset, and I can't remember specifically. They got upset for some reason, and then perhaps someone, parent, carer, grandparent, did something, and we both sort of looked at each other, having not really spoken before, but just been around the same environment, and kind of shared the same sort of vibe just through a look. And then we just chatted for a bit, and then, you know, I chatted about my family for a bit, she chatted about her stuff, and then we kind of from there went on to talk about, oh yeah, I trained as an actor and whatever else, and she was like, oh, well, why don't you write to Jamie Lloyd, who's directing that Pinter season? And it was like, that's obviously, for me, I was like, wow, that's really significant. And it was all just very genuine because we connected on a level that was like totally unrelated. And obviously that's a very kind of specific thing.
No, but I think that's a good example, because it's like, that is how opportunities can arise when she's seen that you're a nice person, you're a genuine person. She has no idea how good you are.
No.
As an actor at that point.
No, she didn't know I was awful, so...
Shut up. Harry's very good. Maybe I will publicly out your acting show reel or something.
That's alright, I can share stuff of yours too. That's fine. We'll promote each other.
No.
What's wrong with that?
Anyway, as I was saying, it's like a perfect example of how you as a person can... It doesn't have to all be about your talent, you know?
Exactly, and that's the point of that story, really.
Yeah.
Is that, and going back to connecting on a human level, we just connected on something that's totally unrelated. And it, you know, I'm not going to then be best friends with her and go out for coffees and everything, obviously, but it's like, you have that connection, it's like you have much more confidence next time if that, you know, I'd pass it like, hi.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Which is an introvert as well, that was quite significant.
Yeah.
And felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's important to feel comfortable, I think, in any situation. Not that every situation is going to make you feel comfortable, and that is also okay. But feeling comfortable is a good thing. Very contradictory, that.
I think that yeah, I think a lot of what we're saying sort of, it's hard because you have to kind of take it in your own way. Like,
It's a discovery thing, self-discovery.
100%. That
Trial
is
and error.
finding out what works for you. And I guess what we're trying to put forward is, we personally believe the way to network and keep long-lasting relationships with people who are relevant to you comes from knowing who you are, being yourself, being like, because I'm sure people listening to this would be like, well, I'm not going to email a casting director and say, I like to cut lines in my grass, do you? Like, we're not saying do that. That's not what we mean. So I think
if you're emailing, make it about their work. You're not going to... I mean, that's also a bit stalkery, isn't it? I've seen you cut lines in your grass. But no. I think if you're going to email, make it a compliment about work or something.
Yeah.
Make it like, I liked what you did in this instance. It doesn't even need to be about work. They may have come out and said something about something that's going on in the
I liked what you
world.
said.
Like, I'm so behind you. You inspired me.
Yeah. So if you were going to contact us, for example, you'd say, "Whoa, you guys are so cool.
Your podcast is amazing," and we'll be like, "Thank you."
Thank you. Come take class with us for free. We love you. Networking.
But if you were there in person, a physical conversation, face to face, is I feel like it's better to make a genuine connection that isn't necessarily work related. If it's work related and that's natural, great. But
exactly.
Don't force it. I guess is the point.
That's the thing. It's all about being yourself, knowing who you are, not trying to network like in a way that's all about give me something. Like, just be yourself. Harry said, do your research, know what rooms you want to be in, what people you want to connect with, what kind of people you want to connect with, because we'll go into this in a minute as well. But remember, it's not only like casting directors and stuff. Like, the people you are in a workshop room with, your fellow peers, are also good networking. The people you train with at university or college or wherever you go, the people you work a front house job with, like, that's all networking as well. So we'll get into that in just a second.
Yes, we will.
But it's about putting your truest self across, being like, this is me, we could help each other, I would love to connect with you, want to do it, and you can then put that forward in whichever way is right for you,
Put yourself out there. You got nothing to lose.
I've got a quote written down here which I will say. It's written by someone called Spencer W. Kimball.
Okay.
And I think this is important. It says, love people, not things. Use things, not people. Which is kind of what we've been saying.
Yeah.
That's
very good. I like that. That's very apt.
Yeah. You're not using people for what they can give. If you have a genuine connection with them and something comes out of that, then it's beneficial for all parties at the end of the day. So. Oh God,
I think if you. Sorry, I slapped my leg then. I'm getting very excited.
Do you know what? Sorry to interrupt. I'll come back to this in a second. It's much better sitting here because I'm not knocking the microphone anymore.
That's true.
I punch the microphone in every episode.
Not today. Today it's just me leg slapping.
Anyway, on you go.
No, I can't remember now.
We were saying about... Oh no. Sorry. How dare I interrupt?
No, it's alright. If it comes back to me. The thing is, I feel like I repeat myself quite a lot here anyway, so I've probably said it already.
Yeah, let's move on. Joking. No, okay, we're going to get into a bit of... more people than you think you do already.
Absolutely.
Like, right now, you can be like, oh, I need to network with blah, blah, blah. Like, all these people really high up. But think about who's in your current circle and who you already sort of know and who you can then get to know through them in a way,
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying about, people you train with, people you do workshops with, I mean, they're probably the best starting blocks in a sense. Be a nice person. It gets you a lot of places.
That's the thing, like...
Because if you, again, I go back to the referencing thing. If you train with someone for 3 years and, you get on fairly well, you're not necessarily best mates, whatever, and that person gets a job, and then that job is with a certain, let's say, director, and they're casting a new project, and you're going up for the audition for that project. That friend might reach out. That director might reach out to that person who you trained with and be like, oh, what they like. They're in your graduating year.
Yeah.
So you must have. Did you train with them? Oh yeah, what they like. Then they'll give an honest opinion, won't they?
Or they can even like put your name forward for things if they've got that kind of like, oh, actually, I know this person that might be really good for this. Like, it's
just. I think it's always better. Nobody wants to make enemies, do they, or whatever. But I think sometimes the industry, with the competitive nature, there can be a bit of a one-upsmanship on things.
Yeah.
And whilst there's people who are very confident in their abilities, and it can be a bit of ego involved, and I think everyone's got ego in some sense. I think
It's not a bad thing to have.
It's not bad,
an ego.
Be confident. Don't be overconfident. There's definitely people out there who are successful who, have big egos and all that. But I think you're going to have probably more longevity to things if you're a nicer person. You could. Just think of it in friends. The friends who are nice and all the time. Not even necessarily to you. Nice to be around, just genuine, whatever you look for in your ideal sort of friend relationship. You're going to have them around for longer, aren't you? Than someone who's all of a sudden spouting out stuff that like you don't agree with. You're kind of probably going to distance yourself a bit.
Exactly. And you'll know the people, like, as we speak about that, I'm sure you will think of someone and be like, oh yeah, like, I really like the way that person is, like the energy they give out, the things they do, blah, blah, blah. And I also believe that the things we like in other people, we like them because we have them somewhere in ourselves, you know? I think that's you reflect and get back, that sort of thing.
It's mowing your grass in straight lines again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, but it's, you know what I mean? I've mown again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think to further the colleagues, people you train with, whatever, I don't know what it's like from a dance perspective. I'm guessing it's similar. Tell me if I'm wrong. But there's not necessarily everyone's going to go out into the world once they graduate and become an actor, a dancer, singer, whatever. They may go into other things. So like I know people, and tell me if you do too, who've gone into casting, who've gone into being agents, who've gone into doing headshot photography. And like all of a sudden, without even thinking, I need to sit down and network, you know people just through being in that environment who are casting things, who could be your agent, who can maybe give you some, discount headshots. Like all of a sudden, there's all these things available to you, just from like taking a minute and looking like, oh, wow, like,
yeah,
I'm already in it. You're in the world already. You're
right networking more than you know you are.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's a good way to be like, yeah, like I'm networking with those people, so I don't have to like do the whole like, you know what I mean, like the
whole emailing, trying to. Do you mow your grass in straight lines?
Please, no one message anyone and ask about the grass. I feel like
this episode is not going to be called networking. It's going to be called "Do you mow your grass in straight lines?"
Yeah, I actually will call it that.
And you're going to have to listen to the whole episode to understand that. Oh, it's actually about networking.
That's funny. No, I hope we've made sense in that, because I think we obviously, as people, network and connect with people in a similar way, hence why we've connected,
Yeah.
But we want you to take what we're saying and apply it to your own life in the way that's right for you. It's just advice and tips and tricks, and I think all you can do is be yourself.
Absolutely.
In every situation you go into, think how you can be yourself and how you can give the situation your best.
Yeah, I agree. You never know who's watching, listening.
Exactly.
Engaging. Like us on this podcast, a minute ago said no one was listening. But the reality is...
Yeah, I'm a bit offended by
all
that.
All the hundreds of thousands of you out there listening, all around the world...
Exactly.
I didn't mean it.
No, we've got people in... what's it called? Belgium listening. America. Say hello to our fans, yeah.
Hi, guys. Hope you're getting something from this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Let us know if the industry is different in Belgium and the States. I mean, guessing it is.
Yeah.
Unless you come over here, then in which case, welcome.
Yeah,
we welcome you.
Come to the Northeast and you can come do class with us.
Yeah, genuinely, if you want to.
Anyway, that was a lot. We chatted for a lot. If you've got any questions, if you feel like, oh my God.
I feel like this is, an ongoing... Because the way we've spoken about this, please do ask questions if you have any.
Yeah, I do. I feel like people will leave this and be like, hey, what do you mean by this? And this
it was
and
quite
this.
General. It is quite general, but
That's
it's also
thing.
not as general as you think it. It's not as specific as you think it is. I guess it's maybe one of the points.
Yeah. So yeah, any questions, shoot them our way. You can, of course, get us on Instagram, Facebook, or email info@quartzacademy.co.uk, or on our website. We've got a contact form on there. We also have, alongside our podcast, there's a blog that goes alongside this. So if you leave this podcast and you're a bit like, wait a minute, go read the blog, and maybe that'll help give a few more ideas of like ways to approach things. And yeah, as always, thanks for listening. Do you have anything else to say, Harry?
Have a great weekend. Now we know that we release these podcasts on Fridays.
Yes, 12 p.m. on Fridays, and you can catch us on Apple Podcasts. I think that's what it's called.
Is it?
Spotify and Amazon Music.
Is there anywhere else, or is it?
Yeah,
on the website.
Basically everywhere. Like
wherever you want to listen.
Wherever you listen, it's there. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, if people are listening, they already know where to listen, don't they?
Okay. Well, it's.
We'll scrub that bit. We're not going to scrub that bit. Have a great weekend.
And do let us know if you want that podcast about us chatting about nothing, because we could do that.
We absolutely can. We might do it anyway, so...
Yes.
Maybe it'll be Christmas special.
Christmas special. Oh, we love that.
We'll have to be aware of when the Christmas special falls.
Yeah, and then we could
because we're recording ahead.
We could get our... instead of tea and chat, we could have hot chocolate and cream and marshmallows and like wear Christmas hats.
I don't think they're going to know we're wearing Christmas hats.
Yeah, the videos might be out.
Yeah, we do video these podcasts as well. So we may look completely different to the way you think.
I wonder...
Although I'm pretty sure we released a bit of a video clip with this second
Yeah,
episode.
sure.
So
okay, doesn't matter. We'll stop rambling.
We
now.
might change our look though, so listen to it and then listen to it again with the video.
Maybe we should do a little segment every week of like a life update for each of us, just like a normal one. Because it's about to tell the world that you just got a tattoo, but I feel like it's not relevant to networking, is it?
It's not really relevant to networking. Unless that person had connections. Which I don't think they did. Depends how long your tattoo is, I guess, doesn't it? Mine was very quick, so...
Okay.
So we haven't ended up talking about it anyway. Have a great weekend for the third time.
We love you. We're going now. Bye. Stay groovy. You have been listening to Tina Chat with Quartz Academy.
If you have any questions or things you want to know, visit our website at www.quartzacademy.co.uk or email us info@quartzacademy.co.uk.
You can also find us on our socials, Instagram, Facebook and TikTok.
Thanks for listening.
We're so happy you're here. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.